Dreams. We all have them. Or if you don't, you do. You just don't remember. I'm Phil Frost. I am the aspiring artist here at Dreamscape Divided, and I found a document. I found a document on my old laptop that I used to use before it died. And it was titled My Dreams. And it apparently contains many of my dreams from my childhood that I wrote down soon after having them. Apparently, I just woke up, was like, wow, that's a crazy dream. I'm going to write this down. Went over to this document, typed it out, saved it. So I haven't read most of these, or any of these, in a very long time. So I thought that we would sit down, read some of them right now, and see just how crazy of a person I am when I'm asleep. Because if there's one thing I do remember about my dreams, even if I don't remember the specific details, it's that they're all very convoluted and confusing. I've got about 10 of them. We'll see how many we get through. Some of them might not be worth reading. But the first one is titled The University. And it has a disclaimer. It says, before you read this, just know that I wrote all of this down right after I had the dream. So if the way I'm saying things sounds kind of weird, it's just because I'm trying to write everything down as fast as possible. I don't know who I wrote that disclaimer for. Was I writing it for me in the future? Did I know I was going to make this video? Regardless, let's get into the actual dream. It starts out by setting the scene. I was in a big university. I knew my friends were there, but I never saw them. The university had 4 levels. The second one had a dentist office. My science teacher from the 8th grade was the dentist for some reason. When I went to leave the university for the day, I found myself at the car rider pickup station. So apparently, wait, I gotta stop it right here. This is a university, which implies that it's college level, but there's a car rider pickup station implying that I'm not old enough to drive. So either I'm just was really smart and managed to get into college before I was able to get a driver's license, or old enough, or it's the opposite way, and I am old enough to go to college, but I'm just so bad at driving that I've been unable to obtain a license. Considering the time I had this dream at, it's probably the second one, because I was very scared of driving until I did it enough times. Driving was a fear of mine. Anyway, I went to this car rider pickup station. My dad pulled up, and I went to go get in the car. My friend Gibby followed me. He wanted to get in the car with me, even though we hadn't planned this. I didn't try to make him go away, though. When I opened the door to the car, however, my dad wasn't there. Gibby said he jumped out of the car and ran off into the woods when I wasn't looking. So we walked down some non-existent road and looked for my dad. We couldn't find him anywhere. So we just got in the car and drove off into the woods. I don't see how that helps. We still couldn't find him. I said, wonder why he went in the woods. Gibby replied, as if he were my dad, and said, I would only go into the woods if I had a good reason to. We parked the car after a while and just waited. Eventually, my dad appeared in the car. Dads do that. They just show up. I thought he had been finding a geocache or something, but he never actually told us what he was doing. And so, Gibby, my dad, and I all were on our way back to my house. Halfway home, Gibby disappeared. There's lots of people disappearing and reappearing in this dream. When we got back to the house, 6 random seniors from the university that I don't know showed up. None of them actually exist in real life. One of them looked like my friend Trevor, but from the future. Another was some random mean person. Another looked like a light bulb, but as a human. Okay, that's correct. I wish I could remember that. I want to know what a light bulb as a human looks like. That's very intriguing. Or maybe I don't. I don't know, it's simultaneously intriguing and terrifying to think of. The other 3 seniors that I didn't describe are not important, because they never do anything in the dream. Also, I have no idea what they look like. Anyway, they followed me up to my room. When we got there, the mean person mentioned going to their house instead. The other 5 people agreed to do so. However, they just ended up staying in my room. It never went anywhere. I pulled out a handheld video game from nowhere and started playing it. There were a lot of levels to this game, but I only remember the first, last, and next to last level. In the first level, the goal was to get some random pixelated guy to the next room after touching a plant and powering up. So I touched the plant and the guy turned blue. Then he went to the exit. Before I could play the other levels, the light bulb human person told me that there was something on the ceiling. It looked like a blob of sand. Then we all tried to see if we could hit the blob of sand with random objects. Yeah, this is the point. Like, the dream was already insane, people disappearing and reappearing, but at this point it just feels like some sort of fever dream. Nothing relates to anything else. Everything's just going off the rails. We got sand hanging from the ceiling. The light bulb person and I pulled out Lego guns that I had built myself and started firing at the sand. We couldn't hit it. So, I took the bullets out of my gun and started just throwing them at the mound of sand. For some reason, the light bulb person thought this was the funniest thing in the world and started laughing hysterically into a pillow. I ignored them and kept throwing the bullets. One of them finally hit, and everyone cheered. Then, I played more of my handheld game. What was the sand? I thought there was going to be resolution. We don't know what. I just hit it, nothing happened. It's just, hit the sand. There we go. Man, that's disappointing. I continued to play my handheld game. In the next to the last level, I couldn't move. I was just watching a video of a theory that plants repel each other due to their water concentration. Everyone in the room agreed that this theory was correct. The light bulb person got angry, talking about how some people don't believe that plants repel each other and that those people are dumb. Before I could play the final level, the future Trevor interrupted. He said, "Man, what are we doing here? Thought we were going to my house." The mean person said, "No, everyone agreed they were going to my house." Then future Trevor said, "But we need to set up some bear traps at my house. We got to put them between the cars. We got to find my cat." I love this dialogue. If people talk like this in real life, 1, we would go insane, but 2, it would be so entertaining to have a conversation with anyone. Why is he putting down the bear traps to find his cat? You're going to hurt your cat, man. Everyone in the room, finding Trevor's cat to be an important cause, agreed to go to his house. Unrelatedly, I played the final level of my game. The light bulb person and some random homeless man who had apparently been in my room the whole time were watching me play this last level, as if it were the most interesting thing they'd ever seen. The final level looked exactly like the first one I played. My character, who was still blue, touched the plant and turned orange. He also equipped a gun. The homeless man said, "Oh man, he's mad now." Once again, the light bulb person thought this was hilarious and started laughing into the pillow. Then he said that he laughed so hard that he almost died. I said, "Yeah, you gotta be careful when you do that." And then the dream ended. What a conclusion, man. Someone turned this into some sort of cinematic masterpiece. This is crazy in the best way. I kind of remember parts of this dream now that I'm reading it. And I'm pretty sure the seniors that were in the dream were all like off-brand versions of the main characters from the Nickelodeon show Victorious. I think I had this dream around the time when I was watching the show Victorious, so that would make sense, because there are 6 of them. And there's 6 main characters in that if you don't count Trina. So I'm pretty sure the grown-up Trevor was Andre, the mean person was Jade. I don't know who the light bulb is. No one looks like a light bulb in Victorious. Yeah, well, that's going to be the main mysteries. Who was the light bulb? Is the homeless man Psychowitz? We got to make a film theory about this. Isn't a film though. Make a dream theory about this. That'll be my brand of game theory. We'll have dream theories. But I'll hold off on that for now because we have to read the next dream, which is called The Dinosaur. Considering how crazy these dreams are, the titles aren't really doing them justice. They sound pretty mundane, but let's see what happens with the dinosaur. There was a dinosaur loose in my town. It looked like a pteranodon, but it was lime green and had a small equilateral triangle for a head. Everyone in my town was scared out of their mind. I was treading through water with my friends and a bunch of other random people. We were trying to get away from the dinosaur. Suddenly, the dinosaur dove underneath the water. No one could see where it was. Then, it shot back out of the water, eating people as it went. Everyone was terrified. I ran as fast as I could all the way back home. When I got to the house, I had a discussion with my mom and dad about the dinosaur. We were scared the dino was going to get in the house with us. A while passed, and nothing happened. So my mom thought it was safe to go outside. She said to us, "I'm going to go check out the swimming pool," and she walked outside to where our inflatable pool was. While she was out there, my dad and I walked over to our front door and looked down a nearby window. We could see people outside running from the dinosaur in the middle of the street. That's when the dino spotted us. He flew directly towards the window we were peering out of, when suddenly it flew straight upwards. It was flying right over the house. I ran to the kitchen door so I could see where it was going. It landed right beside my mom. It tried to eat her. I turned around to face my dad with concern in my eyes. Before I could say anything, my dad said, "I knew this would happen." No emotion at all, just a blank expression on his face. The dino continued to try to eat my mom. However, before it got the chance, my mom jumped up, grabbed a tree limb, pulled herself up, and just stood there. The dinosaur was so confused that it flew away. My mom stayed on the top of that tree limb for the rest of the dream. A few minutes later, Travis and his dad pulled up in my dad's Jeep. If you don't know, Travis is my friend. He's in most of the videos on this channel. Travis got out and walked up to my porch. I asked him, "Travis, what are you doing here?" He responded, "Heard there's a dinosaur in your town." Then I said, "Well, yeah, there is. You should really get inside. It's going to eat you." But Travis wasn't afraid at all. He said, "Man, I don't care. I can beat him up with these." And he showed us his fists. My dad and I knew how stupid that sounded, but we ignored it and just invited him inside. Luckily, he agreed. We sat around and talked about the dinosaur at our kitchen table. Later, I'm pretty sure we all went completely insane because a cat walked in our house and we flipped out. We thought this cat was the dinosaur. I tried to barricade it into the living room using a baby gate. I guess it worked because the cat just stayed on the other side and never tried to attack us again. The end. Wow, I gotta say, that one was way better than the last one. The last one was crazy, everything was going haywire. Well, I mean, both of these are pretty chaotic, but this one at least has a coherent plot for the most part. There's a dinosaur here. Oh no, what are we gonna do? Dinosaur tries to kill us, we avoid it. And then it just kind of ends. The cat part's a little weird, but the rest of it makes sense. I like it. But this next one I have a feeling isn't going to make sense because it is called The Piano Grande Lab Rat Etsy Pool Snake Dream, which is a very long title. I guess my complaints about the titles being boring, this is what I get. This is what I get for complaining about it. I get the longest, strangest title ever. It starts like this. I was inside of a music shop. The music shop was part of a large shopping mall. I was trying to purchase a new Yamaha keyboard. Once I bought it, I walked up a flight of stairs, which took me to the rest of the shopping mall. When I got to the top, I saw a group of people from the Disney Channel show Lab Rats, which I don't watch, so I don't know why they were there. They were running fast, as if something was chasing them, but nothing was. Cut to the next scene. I was suddenly in my house. I have no idea how I got there. There was a knock on my front door. I opened it to find Ariana Grande. She didn't even say hey to me. She just walked in and sat down at a computer. She was looking at Etsy. So, I went upstairs and grabbed some of my Safari Ltd plastic animals. If you don't know, Safari Ltd animals are little plastic figurines that you can use to, like, add some creatures to dioramas and stuff. They're just little plastic figurines you can pose. All of the animals I grabbed in the dream didn't actually exist in real life. I brought them downstairs and showed them to Ariana. She was, for some reason, interested in them. Then she walked into the kitchen. I followed her. I looked out the kitchen door and saw 3 snakes fighting each other in the backyard. Then Ariana just walked outside and stood right beside him. I yelled to her, saying, "What are you doing? You're gonna die. Those snakes are gonna kill you." She didn't care. I remember the snakes very well. One was red, yellow, and black. Another was just yellow, and another was just black. The yellow one died first. He was the weakest. Then it was just between the black and the multicolored one. The multicolored one won in the end. Ariana was unharmed. Cut to the next scene. Once again, I found myself at the keyboard shop, teleported there for seemingly no reason. Just like last time, I walked up the stairs, and the people from Lab Rats ran by. This time, however, something was chasing them. I don't remember exactly what it was, but it was some sort of horrific monster. Once it passed, I walked down a hallway and came outside to a swimming pool. I got in the pool and found my arch enemy from the game Skyrim. He looked at me and said, "You can't have it. It's mine." I don't know what it is. I have no idea what he was referring to, but I just sat there and stared at him. And then the dream ended. Great. Yeah, I feel like that last part about the pool, we could have just thrown that away. That had nothing to do with anything else. But the rest of the dream, it's all right. I wish the entire dream was about that monster chasing the Lab Rats people. That was the most interesting part. First, they were being chased by nothing. I go back to the store. Now they are being chased by a monster. And I just ignore it. I'm just like, I'm going to the pool. No. Check out the monster. Come on, man. Come on, me. Anyway, let's get on to the next stream. It is called The Hole in the Wall. Assumedly because it's about a hole in a wall. My best friend Travis was spending the night at my house. We were both in my room when we heard some knocking coming from behind a dresser. Travis and I decided to investigate, so I told Travis to push the dresser out of the way. He did, which revealed a secret hatch in the wall. I opened it and peered inside. We couldn't see anything. It was too dark. So, I reached my hand inside and began feeling for a light switch. I finally found one and flipped it on. Light flooded the room and revealed a bunch of ghosts just hanging out in there. That's when Travis decided to do something dumb and step right in there with him. I followed him for some reason. We talked to the ghosts, and they told us that they'd been living in the wall for a long time, and they wanted to continue living there. We agreed, so we closed up the hatch and we moved the dresser back into its place. We just let them stay there, presumably forever. Then, Travis and I heard more knocking coming from a different dresser. This time, we just decided not to check it out. Instead, we walked outside and went to the main street of my town. We were near a Burger King. I noticed some random guy was having a contest in the middle of the street. Travis and I walked over to him and realized that he was standing next to half the cast of the Nickelodeon show Victorious. Why are Victorious people appear? I've had 4 dreams thus far that I've been reading. 2 of them have multiple people from Victorious. One of them has Ariana Grande, who was in Victorious. Was I obsessed with Victorious when I was young? Why are they in my dreams all the time? This is weird. Before we found out what the contest was, I decided to enter. Well, that's a bad idea. However, while I was entering, Travis just walked off with the Victorious cast, and I never saw him again. I suppose they murdered him. The guy who was holding the contest then told me to follow him back to my house. Okay, that's a red flag. Don't let this man into my house. When we got there, he told me to sit down and grab a frisbee. I did. He told me that all I had to do to win the contest was throw that frisbee at a piece of wood on my cabinet. I did, and to my surprise, the frisbee disappeared into the wood. It's like it got absorbed. I was so confused. However, the guy said that was supposed to happen. Then he told me I won the contest. Unfortunately, I'm not sure what I won because the dream ended there. How anticlimactic. I agree with the me writing this. This is very anticlimactic. I just threw a frisbee in such a way that it got absorbed into solid wood. That's crazy. I should get a super prize for doing. I should be, give me tons of stuff. This is crazy. Scientists are gonna flip out. They're gonna be like, "What? How did he do it? How did he do it?" We'll never know. I also like how I didn't react at all to the Victorious cast murdering Travis. Poor guy. What happened? Come on, Victorious cast. I thought you guys were cool. The next dream also features myself and Travis going on some sort of dangerous adventure. It is called The Mountain Race. And this dream is very, nostalgic to me because it's the first dream I remembering well enough to write it down. This is like the classic dream I always tell people if they ask me what kind of dreams I have, because it's the first one. Travis and I were walking through the woods. We were hopelessly lost, with no idea how we got there. Suddenly, we both spotted a log cabin. It looked very abandoned. We walked inside. There was no furniture or anything, just a weird rectangular-shaped hole in the wall. It just sounds like a window. I looked out the hole and saw a tree branch leading to a yellow platform. For some reason, I decided to climb up to that platform. When I was almost to the top, the tree limb snapped in half. I fell faster than the tree limb did somehow, and the tree limb landed directly on top of me. Travis was freaking out. He thought I'd been crushed. So he ran over to me and used all of his strength to throw the tree limb off of me. And I got up, completely unharmed. We were both relieved. We continued walking through the woods until we came to a mountain. The mountain had a convenient flight of stairs on the side, so we ascended them. When we got to the top, we were met by a man who looked exactly like Waluigi. Waluigi then challenged me to a race. Not Travis, just me. He said that if I won the race, we could leave unharmed. However, if he won the race, we would both die. I accepted. That's why those are bad. No, you gotta negotiate or something. Those are terrible. Oh no, I don't like the me in dreams is so dumb. So dumb. Everyone in my dreams is dumb. No one makes any good decisions. The first person to the bottom of the mountain would win the race. So, we both ran down the mountain as fast as we could. However, Waluigi was noticeably faster than me, probably due to his long legs. It looked like he was going to win, but suddenly, Travis grabbed a barrel of oil out of nowhere and threw it at Waluigi's feet. Waluigi slipped on the oil and fell right on his face. This gave me just enough time to slip by him and win the race. Travis and I escaped Waluigi that day, but unfortunately, we never found our way out of the woods. So in that universe, I guess we're still wandering the woods to this day. That's unfortunate. It's unfortunate for us. But hey, at least we didn't die. At least we didn't get killed by Waluigi. Next is a dream called The Shortest Dream I've Ever Had. And this one looks like it's written in pretty casual speak. I mean, all these are pretty casual, but this one even more so. So, I was walking down the sidewalk outside my house when I ran into some random guys. They looked like gang members. I talked to them and they laughed at everything I said. Then I walked inside and Travis and I played some sort of game. The only thing I remember about the game is that the main menu screen was just a black background with a gif of fire repeating. And that's the end of the dream. All right, that dream gets a 0 out of 10 from me. There was no reason for me to write that down. That was not interesting. Get out of here. Get out of here, old me. Delete this. Delete this trash. Let's move on to what is hopefully a more interesting story called The Clay People. There were a bunch of people standing on a stage. I don't know who any of them were. All around the stage was a bunch of blue clay. It made up all of the ground in the nearby area. One of the people on the stage jumped into the clay and were absorbed. They disappeared entirely. In some parts of the clay, there were small holes. It seemed that people were trapped underneath the clay and looking out of the holes. Meanwhile, somewhere far off, there was a clay person on a red clay hill. The clay person seemed to be wounded in some way. He grabbed a disc and threw it. It landed on another clay person nearby and caused that clay person to die. The guy who threw it felt really bad. Then he grabbed another disc and started smashing random clay items with it. The clay person who had supposedly died came back to life and said to the person who was smashing the stuff, Hey, stop! Stop! Those are my items! Stop that! That's not necessary! The other clay person responded by saying, Oh, it's okay. This disc can smash anything. Which is a response that doesn't make sense, but that was his response nonetheless. The end. Okay, well, that was great. And by great, I mean bad. I was most interested in the normal people trapped in the clay looking out of the holes. How long have they been there? What are they doing in there? What was the purpose of the stage? Guess we'll never know. I need to analyze these dreams. Maybe we'll do a follow-up video where I'll let Travis analyze my dreams and see what conclusions he comes to, because these have got to mean... These have to say something about the kind of person I am. Assumedly, they probably are saying that something is wrong with me, because these are bonkers. Next is a dream called The Boxes, and this is another dream I remember really well. This is a classic. I was trapped in a giant purple warehouse. Boxes lined the top of every shelf. Nothing was in them, but I had an unexplainable fear that they were going to fall on me and crush me. So I just ran. However, I wasn't actually going anywhere. I was running in place without trying to, which is something that happens at least once to everyone, it seems like, in dreams. Then I tried to run the opposite direction. When I did, it worked, and I ended up running through a hallway with a large glass window. On the other side of the window was a giant lion. It looked like it wanted to kill me. I backed away slowly, but before I was completely out of its sight, it pounced into the glass, shattering it. I ran for my life. The lion was chasing after me. As I ran, boxes fell behind me. They hit the lion, but he took no damage. I eventually came to a door, opened it, and closed it as fast as I could. I was outside of the warehouse, and I was safe from the lion. Yeah, that's it. That's the whole dream. It's not a ton of stuff happens, but I am noticing a theme. A lot of my dreams involve some sort of monster or some sort of threat that wants to kill me, and I'm just desperately trying to escape it. You know, Waluigi wanted to kill me, this lion wanted to kill me, the Victorious people wanted to kill Travis, the dinosaur wanted to kill all of us, we thought that cat wanted to kill us, which, you know, that's probably something that can be analyzed. This next dream, though, sounds like it definitely needs to be analyzed. It is called Travis the Lego Man. I was in my office, just sitting on the floor. I looked down a window and saw my best friend Travis standing there, just staring at me. Then I looked at the floor and saw a bald, red shirt, blue pants Lego minifigure. I picked it up and looked at it closer. Then I looked out the window again. Travis was still staring at me. He never blinked. It was very creepy. I looked back at the Lego minifigure. It was still the same. Then I looked at Travis again. He had become a human-sized version of the Lego figure I was holding. I quickly turned my attention back to the minifigure. He now looked like Travis. I looked out the window again, and Travis was gone. And so was the minifigure I was holding. What in the world just happened? I like this one. This sounds like the world's shortest Goosebumps episode. Just like, oh no, my friend turned into a Lego man. Anyway, that's... The last dream is lame. The last dream's lame. It's another short one. I'm going to skip it. Those are my dreams. These are the weird things I think of when I'm asleep, apparently. These are the stories my mind comes up with. Let's hope I'm okay in the brain. It's very questionable based on this.